Okay, hi YouTube. I just woke up. I've not seen this yet. Mr. Fantastic has finally been revealed for Marvel Rivals, and he is a DPS. Now, some of the leaks earlier on showed that he was a Vanguard, but I don't care. We're gonna see some gameplay. Let's get started with this preview video. Let's check this out together.
Now for truly fantastic.
Okay, alright. His design is fire. I love the white uniform.
That was simple.
Alright, interesting primary fire. Very interesting primary fire. Okay. Okay, is this first ability he can like pull people together? That's actually hilarious. Oh my god. That's actually funny as hell. Yo, what? He can absorb the maximum pulse? Yo, that's actually sick. Oh, he can pull himself to people. Oh, and then he goes, oh my god, and then he gets bigger. He gets chunkier. Wow, he gets much bigger. So he can like turn into a tank. Oh, look at his HP. He's got 350 HP. Well, Wolverine mains are gonna enjoy this. This ultimate is really funny. This ultimate is really funny. That's actually hilarious. Oh, that's actually really cool.
Arousing success.
Arousing success. I've seen a lot of ladies arousing on Twitter because of him. And the guy is the other way around with Miss Susan Storm, which we will cover later when she gets her character reveal. Alright, we gotta dig into Mr. Fantastic. That sounds really weird out of context, but we gotta dig into his kit. So let's talk about his primary fire. I think over here we can clearly see. Hold on a little minute here. Let me just rewind this. So Mr. Fantastic has a primary fire where he basically slings his arms forward. Obviously, we know his power is that he can stretch like crazy. So they go forward, they attack the enemy, and it looks like it has cleave. So you can actually attack multiple people with it. And you have to control the arms. So even when you shoot your arms forward, if I just keep rewinding this, you can kind of see the camera gets moved, like the reticle gets moved, and then his arms sling over to the next person, and they still get hit by it. So it seems like wherever the arms go, whoever comes in contact with the arms, they take damage from it. I think that's really important to take away from that. Hold on, we gotta see what's next. So that's his primary fire. Look, there's something on the screen I just noticed. There's this passive. Hold on, we gotta slow this down. So here's this passive that's building up in the middle. Is that like his big form? Like his chunkier form? He gets bigger and chunkier or something? Like, I don't know. This is definitely his, look, he's got like 1, 2, 3 abilities down here. He's got his E. He's got a right click. He's got a shift. So shift is the big boy deflect or absorb form. That's for sure. Right click seems to be the pull together. And E, I don't exactly know what the E is. So this over here, this is the out fire. He can grab onto a person. And then you can, I assume you swap into this state for, yeah, so 3 seconds. You can grab onto, I think, maximum 2 people. And then bash them into one another. That's hilarious. Ah, his E seems to be like a dash. So he like hooks onto a target and goes in. I was actually worried about that because he's a melee DPS, he doesn't seem like he has any way to engage. But they just addressed my concern. So he has 2 charges, and you can like E into people to latch onto them and dash. And so that's actually very interesting from Mr. Fantastic. Let's keep it rolling. So next up is E. So now the E says damage. I don't know if this is correct. Oh, well, there it is. The husband and wife team up. I was wondering about this. So you can see Susan Storm actually gives him a new ability down there. He gets a C. So, well, I have this actually on a different button, but it looks like she'll give him some sort of personal force field, which I think he is going to need because, you know, he does kind of seem limited mobility-wise despite being a very chunky and tanky DPS. So I think this is our first genuine, like, tanky DPS hybrid. I mean, Iron Fist and Wolverine kind of turn into off-tanks with the way that they play, to be fair, but I can see Mr. Fantastic beginning to really fill that role, release another DPS. But funnily enough, like if there's characters with bigger HP bars and relatively bigger HP pools, that just means that Wolverine's just gonna have a better time in the game in general. So sorry about that. Let's keep it moving. So over here, I think what they tried to showcase is just his damage or combos, which is pretty much same. We're actually getting a little bit of a preview of his wife over there, Susan Storm, as well. And then there we go. There's the shift form. So the shift allows him to grow bigger. And then right here, the nano pulse charge gets absorbed and then he deflects it. So is this actually a deflect ability or not? That's what I really want to know. Is this something like when he presses shift, he can absorb a certain amount of damage and then he throws it out like a pulse? Or is it like you guys know what I mean, right? Like when he absorbs this, like is it always the same projectile? Because that doesn't look like the pulse charge. That looks like a completely new projectile. See, it's got this like unique little, you know, design to it. It's its own projectile. So that's basically my only question. I think he shoots out his own unique projectile, which is still relatively interesting. It does seem like you have to aim this projectile well. So that's you know, what I really like about this character is his skill ceiling looks insane. Like, I've been begging Overwatch to make more and more characters like this, and the closest we got was Hazard, but you know, even Hazard can kind of be simplified. Anyways, moving on. So he kind of gets in front of Susan, blocks the damage a little bit, and then we get to see the E in action, right? Like, he's using the E to move in. Look at that. Wow, that is actually crazy. Actually, was he able to use the E to kind of on a teammate? You can actually dash using your teammates? Wait, but this time, look, on the enemy, oh, look at that, look at that. On the ally, it says shield. On the ally, it says shield, but on the enemy, it says damage. So can you actually shield your teammates? Look at that. Just kind of grab onto his wife, come in. Oh my god, so you really are a tank. Like, you're literally like a tanky, or like a tank DPS hybrid, where her whole gameplay style is to soak up damage to kind of become stronger. Look at that. His HP bar increases too. So you kind of want to bunny hop around with, you know, your E. Oh my god, this character's skill ceiling is insane. This is nuts, the amount of things you can do. And now look at that. Now you damage. So what happens when you latch on to an enemy? Oh my god. Okay, so he goes in, and now he does, like, you know, just like a little boop attack onto the enemy and give them a little bit of damage, like, you know, coming in. And then he begins his, like, combo from there, right? He enters his, like, the tanky state, and he gets, like, 600 HP. Dude, like I said, guys, I know this looks strong on paper, and remember, it is a showcase video. For all we know, Mr. Fantastic might end up being really, really bad. But the interesting thing here to note is, I genuinely believe, now we do know from some of the leaks that this guy was going to be a tank, but I genuinely believe that this is the, like, one of those cases where it's a tank DPS hybrid. And that's very cool, because, you know, Rivals has been doing that, right? They have characters that are filling, like, this, like, hybrid roles. So this is a very interesting way to address, like, you know, sometimes when you don't have a tank, you can kind of run, like, you know, strong melee DPS, excuse me, with your tanks and do some crazy things. Look at this pull over here, and this is the ultimate, right? So he goes up, and then again, okay, it's not again, it's fantastic. So, you know, he goes up, and he just starts becoming fantastic. To be honest, the ult is really funny. I can't lie, visually, it's pretty funny to watch. I'm just bunny hopping around like this. It's the silliest thing I've ever seen, and now I really want to see a One Piece collab where Mr. Fantastic is Luffy. It'll be hilarious. So this is actually very, very cool. Watching more and more of this kid, I've begun to realize, you know, I think Mr. Fantastic is going to be a very good addition to the brawl and dive based compositions. And I think, you know, if you know what you're doing, I think this character will be the best peeling character in the game. Like, in my personal opinion, like, imagine you're defending and somebody's on your supports. Like, he has so much CC. Look at that. Look at how much CC he has. You can, like, latch on to one of your supports, appear in front of them, shield them from any damage that they're taking, take all the attention, CC the flankers, and then basically beat the shit out of whoever was on your support, right? Or in this case, your strategist. So, Mr. Fantastic, honestly, I genuinely think, like, okay, I really hope in execution in the game, he's actually as fun and as cool as he looks, because I might actually really main this guy, because he's so damn cool. And what I really love about his kit, I mentioned it a couple of times here as well, is he genuinely looks like he has a high skill ceiling. Like, it genuinely looks like he has a nice skill floor where you can, like, basically pick him up, like, you know, at his basic level. But it seems like the more you look at his kit, like, there's so much interesting things going on with it. And it's funny because the least complicated ability that he has is actually his ultimate. His ultimate is the most basic thing he has. But his primary fire, his alt fire, like the hook, like this thing over here, like, again, this might look easy to do because of this preview here. It might actually be really hard to do in the game. So I'm so interested, man. This character looks so fun to play. And that's what I love about Marvel Rivals, man. They're just, like, throwing this concept and idea of we need to make simpler characters, and they're just like, no, we're gonna make harder characters. If you don't like it, like, sit down, you know, learn the character, play the game, or do your best and get better. Look at this. Look at this. Becomes bigger. He gets, like, this weird nano shielding around him. Look at this real quick. Look at this. So the shift form, this is the shift form. And he, like, particularly sticks out his chest like the man he is, right? Gonna tank everything like the man he is. And, like, he absorbs that and then he just throws it back at Iron Man, right? That's crazy, dude. That's unironically actually crazy. And then, again, like, look at this. Look, his support is getting... I love that they showcase it like this. Like, look, this is one of the ways you can shield your team. It's like, look at this. Your wife is getting attacked. You're like, no. I'm the protector, I'm gonna protect the wife, and then she'll protect me. And then they both go at it from here, right? I think that is so interesting. So I don't know exactly how the shielding mechanic completely works. I think he like, hold on, I think he like latches onto the target. Like when he does this, this is what I'm interested, right? If he puts his hands on you, his arms are glowing blue. Does this mean the target is invulnerable? Right? That's kind of what I want to know. Is like when he puts his arm onto a target, what can happen to the target? Because I don't think it's actually shown over here. He dashes forward, so you can see the dash, and then he becomes big, and then he tanks the damage, and it seems to fill his passive bar. I think the only thing we don't know, yeah, look at that, look at that, look at that. His passive got filled. See, like he dashes, it goes big, and it fills his passive bar. I don't exactly know what his passive is. I really wish they kind of mentioned that somewhere, like when they do these videos, mention how the passives work. But it's fine. Like I think his passive allows him to go into like a bigger form for a temporary state. I think that's what the passive is, right? And like you get it for 6 seconds. You become much bigger once it gets charged up. So like he's like a very momentum-y based character. You want to play safe until you're ready to go in when you're a big boy with like 600 HP. Wow. 680 at 740 max HP. Okay, this is a tank. This is an off tank. I don't care what anybody says. This is literally an off tank. I don't want to hear it. This character is a hybrid. I just love the design innovation with Marvel Rivals. Like they take concepts and ideas and they mess around with them. I feel like there's a reason they call their roles Vanguard, Duelist, and Strategist, and perhaps we really do underestimate how unique each of these roles are. Because this guy's entire kit literally plays like a tank, right? He's shielding his team, he's soaking up damage. It's crazy when you actually think about it, right? He's CCing the enemy. These are things you usually expect your tank to do, but Mr. Fantastic is here doing it like as a quote-unquote, DPS or as a duelist. So he actually, like, dare I say it, he feels like he's the DPS Doomfist of this game, where it's a very combo, like off-tank, like, CC heavy based playstyle. And I don't know, like, it's gonna be funny. And I just realized this is like a budget meteor strike. Like, you're just going up and down, well, in this case, meteor strike is one up, one down. But in this case, you're repeatedly doing the meteor strike. So Mr. Fantastic looking like he's going to be very fun to play. I'm so excited to see how Susan is going to play as well, Miss Invisible Woman herself. So do be subscribing to the channel, guys. We will be covering her when she comes out. As for this video, that's it. Reviewing Mr. Fantastic and his kit. The first look at his kit and what he does. In my opinion, he's going to have a very nice home in the brawl and dive-based comps. And I think unlike a lot of the other melee DPS heroes who might be very niche or struggle, I think Mr. Fantastic might actually find a home in a lot of compositions very quickly. And I don't think Mr. Fantastic is going to be broken either, because number one, you can easily just counter him with range, and number two, Wolverine exists. So if you have two tanks in Mr. Fantastic, Wolverine's going to be feasting. And guys, don't forget, Wolverine is actually getting buffed. He's actually getting buffed for the coming season. So it's like maybe the reason they're buffing Wolverine is in case Mr. Fantastic creates a triple tank, quote-unquote triple tank meta, where in this case it's two Vanguards and one hybrid duelist, which is, again, in this case it'll be like Reed, and then you can have, like, I don't know, Doctor Strange, Hulk, etc., or whoever has the team ups that benefit Mr. Fantastic. But I will say from now, get used to seeing the most iconic husband and wife combo in Marvel, because I do think they're going to be very strong. We're going to be reviewing Miss Invisible Woman as soon as she comes out. But for now, that's going to be it for this video. I will see you in the next one.